For over 20 years, the Fire Store has equipped first responders with the best in firefighting gear. Discover seasonal savings on the gear you trust and visit thefirestore.com to shop everything but the truck.
Hello and welcome to month 12 of Talking Tactics. Where we were just talking offline, RJ reminded us that this is the end of our second year. I'm like, damn, I didn't realize we'd been going on that long.
End of year two.
2 years, man. So Dave Polikoff here with Sam and RJ, Talking Tactics. We never really script anything. Literally, we came up with a topic 3.5 minutes ago. What we're going to talk about. Well, we're going to kind of wrap up the end of the year, talk about some things that we're going to looking forward to in the next year. I'm excited because it's 2026. I'm kind of superstitious. I'm a guy that likes even years. I'm not a big odd year fan. I'm weird, whatever. But it's 2026, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. A lot of things happen in the hopper in Frederick. I know, like we were just talking offline, RJ said Montgomery's been pretty hot with all the fires. Unfortunately, Sam's got an administrative role, so by the time he gets there, he can't take pictures. But anyway, man, I'm not going to ramble. RJ, go ahead and start it off. Let's talk a little bit about end-of-year stuff and what we're looking forward to next year.
Yeah, man, I thought it'd be pretty cool to just wrap up year number 2 of Talking Tactics and just kind of I was thinking about things that we've talked about, try not to repeat subjects again, but I think it's good to actually talk about everything that we talked about. And, when you think about it, there's really no stone unturned, but, we've covered a lot in a year. And then just some things that we talked about in this year, 2025 alone. We talked about high-risk searches, which covered 2 months' worth. We talked about different leadership styles and tactics. Intercompany operations. We had a couple instructors on. Charlie Hendry was on. Dave McGill was on. Hank Henline was on. Brian Riley was on. We've had a lot of good guests on the show, and I think it's just a good thing that we are fortunate enough that we can have so many friends in the business that we can bounce things off of each other. Like you said, we don't ever come on here with a script. And, I think with just the experience that we all have and bring to the table and things that we know and things we can share, it makes a good program, one that's followed by so many people. So, I personally would like to say thank you to everybody who has listened to Talkin Tactics throughout the 2 years that we've been doing it. And so I thought that it would be a good time to transverse into 2026 and talking about what do we do as firefighters, what do we do as company officers, what do we do as chief officers to get ready for the next year. And so, it's funny, I as of January 13th this year, I became the lieutenant of Company 1, which is on the west side of Frederick. And, I was actually a little behind with the goal planning as I got there just, a month, like in mid-month of the year. So one of the things that I had to do was try to play catch-up, trying to figure out what my goals are going to be for the year and try to tackle them as the year went on. And so one of the things that I did when I first got there was sit down with each person in my group and talk to them to figure out where they were at personally. So, I tried to gauge what each person can do, what each person wanted to do, what each person wanted to be better at. And that was where I was able to streamline my trainings. Where I work at, we cross-staff fire trucks. We cross-staff the busiest engine company, and we also cross-staff a tower. So most of my guys, their biggest skills that they wanted to be better at was tower and truck operations, which was great because it was able to give me a place to start and kind of streamline the tactics for it. Goal planning is really tough to do if you don't have a place to start. And I always revert back to the basics. So one of the things that I did was I took my group and we chipped everything all the way back down to the basics: simple ladder, simple forcible entry, search tactics, and most importantly, which was good for me, was because I was new to them, which was figuring out how we all navigate working with each other. I was a brand new officer working with these guys. These guys have all worked with each other for, years before I got there. So I had to kind of learn how they moved, kind of make sure that it was, what I like, and making sure that I can get down with the plays. For me, the goal setting was pretty easy because I was able to know what they needed and have a place to start. So, that's just one of the things that I think about as we go into 2026, talking about what's going to be our goal for the next year and things moving forward. And you guys have both been company officers, and I'd love to hear what you guys have done with your companies and your groups as you transition from one year to the next. I'm sure a lot of people listening, might be trying to understand, wait, what's a good place to start, and what are good ideas,
Go ahead, Sam.
Yeah. So usually, the new year is indicative of potential upcoming promotional exams. Maybe something big's changing in the department. The fire chief's retiring, or your battalion chief's retiring, or there's some promotion stuff going on. Hey, we know who's going to retire this year, and we're going to get some new players either on your shift or in your battalion, or so figuring that stuff out, and especially if one of your folks is competing for a promotional exam, if you get to them on January 1st and they have until the fall, you're gonna set them up for success. So that January 1st kicks off, hey, who's taking the test? All right, let's start doing some stuff right now. Like every shift we'll do a little, we're not going to beat each other up about it, but we're going to get some stuff done every shift. And that way, by the time, you're ready to take the test, you're not freaking out and cramming and all this other BS. So I think that's probably the biggest thing, is making sure, the folks that are going after a promotion, you're supporting them, and you're getting ready for any new players that may come to your shift, your battalion, that kind of thing.
Mine is, my boss, Shane, came to me a month and a half ago and said, "Hey man, I'm retiring December 31st." So, it's, uniform wise, uniform personnel wise in the division that we work in, it's just Shane and I. So he's rolling. So I've been spending the last month and a half just kind of getting spun up on the things that I'm going to have to do in the interim with them finding, his replacement. So I'm learning stuff that, I never thought that I would really be, knee deep into, and it's with budgeting and stuff like that. But it's actually pretty cool because it's learning something new, and I'm all about learning something new, even if it's, if it seems boring, it's a necessity. And to be able to craft a plan and then go in front of the politicians and saying, "Hey, we need to do this. This is how much money it's going to cost. This is why," actually have all the data to have their questions answered before they ask them. And then to be successful. And one thing I can say, the 4 years that I've been there, we've been pretty successful with our budget for volunteer services. Shane's put together a lot of good budgets. We got a lot of good stuff with bumping LOSAP, the Length of Service Awards program, reduction of age for that to collect physicals every year for all operational volunteers. Fingerprints and background checks free of charge that we pay for. We budgeted for that. It's a reoccurring CIP project. So just all of that stuff. But now that he's leaving, and I hate to see him go because Shane and I have been friends for a very, very long time. Him spinning me up on all the things that they're doing. So it's been busy, to say the least. You come in and it's you're moving 100 miles an hour until you roll out that evening to go home. So I think 2026 is going to bring some cool stuff. Have a new boss in the office. Who knows who that's going to be. And then, continue to move forward. And like I said, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be pretty interesting times. I know, Frederick, we've been hitting it pretty heavy with the training. Towards the end, they're doing the last quarter of the moto training, which I believe is firefighter rescue. If I remember correctly, RJ, correct me if I'm wrong, but and it's I can tell you right now, East Coast, Mid Atlantic, it is cold. Them dudes are out there working hard. But I like seeing that, being at the training academy and seeing the work that's being done. So I think we're heading towards a good, successful year for 2026. We've got some policies in the pipeline that are going to be put together. They've already initiated some of the policies with the transfer policy and things like that. I think that's going to even some stuff out for the guys in the operations. But yeah, I think just for the planning, to learn something new. And I think all of us, we have a training background. To be able to learn something new every day is important. So you don't get stale in your job. And for the last, I don't know, well, for the last 4 years. Learning the job that I'm in now, it's something new every day, which is pretty cool. And then, helping out all the 24 corporations that are out there. They all have different needs and wants and things like that. So it's been pretty cool. So I think 2026 is going to be pretty successful, volunteer service wise in my division, as well as I think for the operations in Frederick, as well as where I volunteer in Carroll County. We're putting some new stuff together in Carroll County as well. We're going to be having command comps that we're going to be putting on in the south end of Carroll County where we are. We're going to invite all the south end chiefs to participate if they want to. So a lot of stuff in the pipeline. So good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. And it makes me happy to know that, I can still learn new stuff and then still be excited about doing some of the old stuff as well.
Yeah. One thing that I didn't really think about, which Sam brought up was a really good idea, was the promotional exams and thinking about the promotional exams. That was something that caught me off guard this year. Whereas I had my senior man, my technician, who wanted to take the lieutenant's exam. And, for me, that was dead smack after the summer. And I was just still trying to figure out my group. I had guys working on different projects, one trying to become a driver on a rig, another one trying to become, an instructor. I had him trying to be a lieutenant. So, trying to navigate all of these people was tough. And he, my senior man, is the guy who does all of the training for those guys. So he's the one who does the driver's training for them. He is my go-to guy. He organizes pretty much the day operations for the shift. So trying to, make sure I had time for him to study and my ability to be able to help him and still kind of navigate the day-to-day happenings, that was a tough one. And I do like Sam's idea, which if anybody's listening, which is prepare for that well in advance. If you know that's going to be coming up. Like I know Frederick, we do alternating years. So Frederick, we do, lieutenant and technician 1 year. We do captain and battalion chief the opposite year. So, this year was technician and lieutenant. So next year it'll be captain and battalion chief. So, those things you can plan for. And if you're any regular firefighter, you are pretty much at the mercy of your own study habits. And I would probably say the majority of us don't have really good study habits. And you factor in life, families, all your data, your regular happenings, Sam's spot on with that, starting that process early on and getting a good jump start on it. That way when you get time for when the announcement, you're not crunching to study, So I really like that you brought that up, bro. That's legit.
Yeah, and you do it starting that early. You're able to get the entire shift involved too. Because what I always tell folks is, even if you're not taking the promotional exam, pay attention. We need to know all of this stuff. They're just testing those folks on it to see if they know it well enough to promote. This is stuff we should all know, stuff we should all be reading occasionally, and stuff we should all be doing. And look, life's so busy these days, and it's so easy. I won't call it make excuses, but man, sometimes it's just like I don't know where I'm going to find the time. Find the time. you can find the time, schedule it into your, if you're busy in the afternoon, get it in the morning, whatever, but you got to get it in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And having your senior man, RJ, what you talked about, kind of sprung something up in my head. Now he's kind of, encompassed in taking that, studying for that lieutenant's test. So his days are probably filled with trying to study. So you've kind of lost your right-hand man. Perfect time for your senior firefighters and even your junior firefighters to step up to the plate a little bit, take some of that responsibility from that technician. And then learning that job, and that, that's all succession planning. We don't do that very well in the fire service, but it allows, that technician to have some breathing room to just focus on, the day-to-day operations that he's got responsible for in the station, going to the calls, but on his downtime to be able to study and not have to worry about all the other little things that he did. Have those other people stepping up to the plate. That puts those people in line to get a little glimpse of what his job is, and then what you expect of that technician. And one of the other things that you had talked about, Sam, about jumping on that early, be there to be a mentor for those guys that are jumping into the captain's position or battalion chief position or lieutenant's position. Offer that hand of help and advice and things like that. Be there for them, because I can tell you right now, I remember taking my lieutenant's test in my captain's assessment center and even the battalion chief assessment center. It was really overwhelming and very stressful. So to be able to be that lifeline, to be that hand that just says, hey, let's run through some scenarios, let's talk about some stuff, and we'll bounce things back and forth. To me, that really helped out a lot, and I pass that on. I offer it to anybody that wants to talk about, a captain's test or the battalion chief's test or lieutenant's test, or, hey, what would you do in this situation? Or, hey, give me some scenarios so I can think about what I would do in that particular situation. Be there, that mentor, to that hand to help them if they want it. Be there if they have a question, and guide them in the right direction. I think that's huge, because we want our firefighters to succeed. We want them to move forward. We hopefully were fortunate enough to have somebody that was there in our corner to help us move forward. So now it's time for you to be that person to help that person step up or help that person. You step up to help that person to get into the position that he's looking to do, further his career.
Yeah. It's funny because my senior man, me and him, we talk almost every day, if not every day, every other day, just for, continuity of the shift and just keep tabs on each other's lives and what's happening. It's funny. We were friends before I got assigned there. Not best friends, but we were friends because we both worked at Squad 3. He was just on the opposite shift. I was on the opposite shift. So we always saw each other, hung out in the morning times, passing, did trades or whatever. We saw each other. And then now he's my driver. And so, we established a really good friendship, so we talk almost every day, if not every day, every other day. But, something he asked me the other day was, how do we adjust the shift moving forward into the new year? And so I told him, I said, look, man, like, the first thing that I cannot do is I can't hit him with everything, just like when I came there, right? I can't come in there, slam down expectations, and I've only been there a shift, So it actually, when I got there, I waited about 2 to 3 months before I went over my expectations. That gave me time to actually see how they move. What are things that I can be cool with? What are things that I can't be cool with? And then I kind of reestablished my negotiables, non-negotiables off of that. But that set me back a couple months. Getting there in January, that puts me back to March now or April. So now I'm actually having that conversation. So now from, let's say, March or April, now I'm enhancing these things with my new group. And so now you look at it, and now it's December. So now, and I explained to him, I said, so, now I take the little things that we can do better. And I told him, I said, I make notes in my phone. And then these things, I can end the year, start the year by saying, guys, look at all of the things that we've accomplished in the year. We've produced a new driver. We've produced instructors, guys, moved up in the ranks, guys who did this, that, and that. Lots of my guys, lots of them have all did some kind of training or another on their own time that's not required of the department, whether it's going to a conference or a training or attending something that's not required. I've had a couple guys travel with me to a couple classes. So, to be able to give them that back and say, guys, look what you've done. This is great stuff. They're doing more than the average, group. But now, how can we be better, guys? These are some little things that, I've noticed throughout the year. And we can take these things and now double down on them to make ourselves better. And it's just by, collectively collecting things and then slowly giving it to them, not hitting them with, a whole a punch list full of shit. But, and I told them, I said, that's the best way to do that. So, they feel accomplished. They know that they got so much stuff done, probably stuff that they forgot they'd done, but it lets them know that I noticed these things. I saw these things and kind of boost them to say, let's keep going with this. Let's keep rising. And also in the process, let's tidy up on this and let's tidy up on that. And, so that's the conversation that I had with him the other day when he asked me, how do we move forward into the new year?
The one of the things that you'd said, we had talked about expectations many times on this show, and you're right, RJ. You just can't come in on day one, and this is for the new lieutenants that are getting promoted. You're going to get your assignment. Don't come in on day one saying, here's a list of my, expectations. Because a lot of stuff you may have written down, those guys are already golden on it. That's something you don't have to worry about. So you have to observe. What's going on the shift, and then you can modify your expectations. Hell, I didn't give my expectations to my guys for probably like 4 or 5 months. And most of them, they were already hitting all the points anyway. So it was most of just of going back and just reiterating some stuff. The other thing, somebody was asking me the other day, what are some of the problems that we run into in the fire service, from an officer standpoint, my opinion. I told him, I said, I can sum up, this is just my opinion. I sum up when we have problems in the fire service, it revolves, in my opinion, around 3 things. It's a training issue, a communication issue, or a discipline issue. And what I mean by that is that you're not saying what you need them to do. You're not being clear with your communications, or they don't have the ability to communicate to you, whether it be they're afraid to communicate things to you or they don't know how to. When it comes to training, a lot of issues can be solved through training to make sure that we understand what it goes back to your expectations. When it comes, this is what you're going to be doing on the fire ground. When we run calls, you're going to be doing this. This is what I want you to do unless I tell you something different. And it all comes down to training. And then the final thing is, and this is for the new officers, especially if you're young and you've got some senior guys, is the discipline. And what I mean by discipline is that, what you allow to slide in your station sets the tone of what they're going to do. And it's only going to get worse. So if they didn't wear their hood, if they weren't wearing full PPE on a call and you didn't say anything, well, then that's the new normal. There was a person at my volunteer station, one of the career guys was walking around in Crocs, white Crocs, in uniform. Not my guy, but I looked at the lieutenant, didn't say anything, and I'm like, that's that person's new normal. If you're allowing them to get away with that, then that's the new normal. You got to correct the action right away. So don't be afraid to toe the line, because if you let them get away with it, then that's the new normal, and then everybody else is going to get away with it. And believe me, people notice when you run a shift that lacks or is a little sloppy or a little lazy. People see it right away. So yeah, those are the 3 things that I always tell people. You can solve it, better communications, good training, and make sure that you have the discipline to talk to your people to make sure that they're following the expectations. So
I think most of the times, to your point, with the problems, I think most of the times it's your latter, which is they don't know how to. Our department is very young. We have a lot of younger officers. and I see this a lot, right? Not everybody can go down the road I went down, right? Where I'm volunteering. I'm an officer at 19, 20 years old in a busy volunteer department, right? So like I had that experience going into it. But one of the things I've noticed is, let's say you work as a fireman in a slower company, or you worked in a company that they didn't have that brotherhood, sisterhood. They didn't know how to look out for each other. They didn't know how to do teams building stuff and that kind of stuff. So then now they want to take the next step. They want to promote. They're promoting because they want to take the next step, but they don't know what it's really like to have brotherhood, sisterhood, what it's really like to have cohesiveness, what it's really like to have, guys and girls that mesh together. So the only thing that they can do is operate as if they're independent, or operate, without knowing that kind of stuff. And that's a tough one, Dave. That really is a tough one, because I see that all the time. It's not that they don't want to. It's most of the time they don't know how to,
And it does reflect back on the officer. I put a lot of weight on the officer's shoulders. If their people are sloppy, or if they're not hitting the marks on the fire ground, as long as it's not a safety issue, I'm pulling that officer aside and say, what are you doing? This falls squarely on your shoulders. And if you come to me and says, I've tried and tried and tried, and they just won't do it. And my next question is, where's paperwork? And they don't have it. If you let them get away with it, it's going to continue to go and go and go. And being an officer it's not just about the pay raise. The battalion chiefs, and if you're a lieutenant, the captains and the battalion chiefs should be putting a lot of weight on the shoulders of those officers to make sure that they're running a square shift, because battalion chief's not there. When I was a battalion chief, I wasn't there to run somebody's station. I was there to make sure that they got what they need. If they were lacking anything, or if they needed some help, I was there to help them. When we were on the fire ground, I made sure that they were as safe as they could be and go home. But I wasn't running their day-to-day operations. They run a sloppy firehouse. They have a sloppy fire engine, fucked up tools. That's going to reflect. I know, like you said, RJ, a lot of people don't know how to be that kind of officer because they didn't have that person above them, especially when you're a young department. And it happens. Like Montgomery, when I got in, it was a lot of old guys, a lot of old senior guys from Vietnam and whatnot. And as they went, the fire department does this, all the time. A senior, and then they retire, and you got young guys again. But we have to do our best to set them up for success. So when we leave, we're comfortable that they're going to continue to carry that flag and then build upon it. Not to sound cliche, but that's what I truly believe. We'll hear from you, Sam.
I'm always afraid to cut in because I feel like I cut people off. I'm just terrible at the, I probably would. I was good at turn and double Dutch when I was a public school teacher. I was never good at actual performance in double Dutch. You know what I mean? So anyway, no, back to that expectations thing. I, at least as a battalion chief, I got it out right away, but it wasn't this stuff I needed them to do going out the front door to firehouse. It's the stuff I needed them to do going out the back door to firehouse, or when they weren't at the firehouse. It's like the biggest thing to me was, let me know if something goes sideways in your professional or personal life as fast as you can, so I can help you. Even if it's, I don't know, you're broken down on the side of the road, and I'm the easiest person to call me. Or if, you just don't have an answer to a question that somebody asked you or that you have of yourself, call me. Call me. I know I've said it on this podcast before. I've had people over to my house that are on my shift to, just show them, hey, I love you. Whether you know it or not, a lot of people around you love you, and I'm here to help you. Let's go. And it takes a lot, but that's what the expectation for me, wanting to get it out right away as a chief, at least, was, here's my phone number. I know you, the company lieutenants and captains, I pretty much knew all of them, at least had them in my phone already. call me. Don't, I can help, whatever it is, and people took advantage of it. And I was so proud of some of the younger folks that were going through tough stuff, that they were strong enough to be like, you know what, I'm not going to let this, end my life or ruin my life or do whatever. I'm going to go get help. Or even if it's something, I've had a falling out with my wife and I don't know what to do. You might not know what to do, but as a chief, you have the resources to know what to do. So, but that was my big thing with the, having, it wasn't less, hey, I need you to lay out on every call. It's like you go in and like start laying here. I need you to do everything that's in the IRP.
Right.
They already know that. They know. I'm not going to tell you to lay out on every 2-on-1 because it already says you have to do that. So you're doing that already. Don't let me catch you not doing it. No, but yeah, it was more about that. Making sure that they knew they were taken care of right off the bat, and that
most
they weren't
new
alone if they were going
struggle
through
with
some
that. Most new officers struggle with that because they don't know. I don't even know if I brought this up before. One of my biggest pet peeves when somebody says, "Let me know if you need anything." I hate that, and that's man. That's like a typical
right?
new officer response, man. Let me know if you need anything. I'm letting you know now. I need something. I just don't know how to ask.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, my door's always open. They don't answer the phone. Yeah, but again, it's most of the time, they don't know how.
Sometimes you have to just, and if you disable them right off the bat by saying, "What can I do for you, brother?" Right, look them right in the eye. What can I do for you, brother? Completely disarms and like, well, shit, he is going to be able to help me. I am going to get through this, or what? It's important, man. It's important to make sure they know that you're there for them.
I think what you said, Sam, when it comes to expectations, not necessarily. It can't be one way. You can't say, "Here's what my expectation." You got to let them know, "Here's what you can expect from me."
Yeah, right.
And then lay that out there. Actually, I would put that out there first. Here's what you can expect from me. This is what I'm going to do for you. A lot of that, a lot of the buzzword, I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to be fair and all that. And that's important. But it's also, I'm here if you need anything. And that's just not an empty, hollow promise. You are under my umbrella. I truly care about everybody that's here. If you need something, reach out. Plain and simple. But you got to follow through with that. Don't be not answering that phone when the phone rings. When your door's always open and it's closed.
Pick it up. That's been that was the hardest thing as a new chief for me, because me, man, I'm terrible with the phone, text, emails. Like, my wife manages my social life because I'm terrible at it, and God bless her. I'm so glad that she does, because otherwise I'd probably just be sitting alone on my couch most of the time. But that was my point. It's going to my point. See, there we go. I knew I was going to run off at some point. It's been a long week, bro. The week before Christmas with 2 kids.
Paper and pencil.
My God. Oh.
It has been a long. I'll give you that. It has been a very long week. And Christmas is coming up. You've got the young kids, man. I mean, it's easy for RJ and I to shop, but you've got the youngins, man. You got to make sure.
I remember seeing guys come into work just beat up over the holidays.
Get them Barbie dream houses and everything, man.
What's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? That all can't be that bad or difficult or exhausting or emotionally taxing. Oh yes, it is.
I didn't realize
almost 5 and almost 8-year-old girls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I sleep soundly out of exhaustion. That's
you used to just go to work so you could get a good night's sleep, maybe. So what kind of stuff do you got in the pipeline, RJ, for 2026? Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about FDIC here in a bit, but for your station down at One Engine, what do you got going on for those guys? What are you going to be focusing on? Any idea? Or are you just going to kind of play it by ear and see what happens?
No, I got a few things. Actually, one of the things is to tag on to what Sam was talking about, which is being available to your guys. I tell my guys all the time, like my biggest fear is not being there and they need something and not being able to do it or help it or manage it. And so, like, even when we travel and teach, I always, even if I'm not doing a lecture, I still bring my laptop. I feel like I need to be able to, if they need some scheduling wise, whatever the case may be, I need to be able to address it. My guys also have the mentality of, which is a good mentality to have, and I'll explain this mentality and how deep they take it. I think they take it a little too deep, but they have the mentality that we do not bother the boss with anything. We get it done, we get it handled, and nothing gets to him. And they take that literally. Like, I don't know half the shit these guys be doing half the time because they take it. Like, literally, I'll be in my office and I'll be like, man, I ain't heard from these guys in a minute. I wonder what's going on. Like, we just spent some time together. We're out training or doing whatever. Like, and it's been quiet. What are they doing? I'll go look for them, and they'll go out and do another drill. But this time they'll do the drill without me. And they don't invite me. You know what I mean? Like, they have any kind of problem. The senior man, he takes care of it. And then he'll usually the next day he'll be like, hey, just so you know, this is what happened. I took care of But here's one for you. I had a guy, one of my stars, man. He had to go into emergency surgery, and I found out about it at 8 a.m. He went in at 5, and I was like, bro, why didn't you tell me about this? He's like, I didn't want to bother you with that, boss. I'm like, no, that's the stuff
that I need to be bothered about. Yes.
Yes. And like,
I'm good. That's good bother.
I have a younger group. And so, with younger guys, it's all or nothing, right? So, and that's, it's so good to know that I have a group of guys that take care of everything. They want to make sure that they're leaders amongst themselves. They want to make sure that nothing has to be brought to me to be a bother. And honestly, that is it's a blessing to have people like that. I have so many other times where on the opposite side of this, everything comes to me. I'm like, you could have handled this. This is so petty. This is something so small. You could have. Why are you bringing this to me? Now I got a 2026. Guys, bring me some stuff, please. Bring me some stuff. I'm actually bored. You know what I mean? Like, bring me stuff. But my big thing that I want to do in 2026. So 2025, my big project was getting there, understanding them, learning the movements of the company and the different things. This year I was big on skills, expectations, and movements. Those are my big things that I was big on this year. Skills, making sure people knew how to force a door, how to cut a roof, how to be able to do a good search, how to be able to remove a victim, all of those skills. What my expectations were with those skills, being able to do that by yourself, being able to do that with a teammate, being able to do that with a person from another company, knowing how to work together with other people from other companies. Sometimes people from other companies can act like they're better than you. You know what I mean? And teaching my guys to be humble. And movements, that was my third thing. So skills, expectations, and movements, knowing how to move. I spent a great deal this year of teaching my guys how to move without me, because we have this new power. I wouldn't say new; it's been 2-3 years now. But now the unit officer, it's beat down that the unit officer has so much stuff to do. Right? I have to do an on-scene report in the cab. I have to get out of the cab. I have to navigate a 360 and every obstacle in between that on a 360. Right? So a civilian coming up to me wanting to talk to me. Trying to identify the basement, trying to figure out what's going on in the basement, trying to look up to see what's going on up above me, trying to find utilities. I got so much stuff that I have to do as an officer. What are my guys doing? Well, I'm doing all of that. And so that was one of my biggest things, was teaching them how to move what to do, where to go, where to be, how to process what I'm doing too, so that they can make decisions without me. And so next year, 2026, now that we have a great grasp on skills, expectations, and movements, 2026 it's going to be big on operating independently to continue where we left off from this year. So being able to know that I got a guy going to the roof, and he's going to the roof, and he's by himself, or I have a guy that's going to be on the side of the building throwing ladders, and he's doing that by himself. And the fact that I know where everybody's at now, we've trained on this. I know what they're all doing. I know that most of them are always going to be outside taking care of these functions. So that's going to be the first thing for 2026. The next big thing for 2026 is seeing the big picture. I have a young group of guys. So being able to see this is happening here, but if I don't do something now, something's going to be happening over here, and I need to be able to see that, and I need to be able to anticipate that. And then the third part of 2026 is critical decision making. So empowering the guys to make decisions without me, to be able to say, I know this needs to be done. I know the boss isn't here to say, let's do this, but I know it needs to get done, so I need to get it done. And that's a lot. That's a lot of stuff. Operating independently, seeing the big picture, critical decision making. That's a lot. And I know people listening might say, well, we do that now. My group already does that now. And good for you if you do. But I also have a younger group. I have a young group of firefighters who I have to train these skills, with experience. So, a lot of people who can do that stuff already took years of experience to learn how to do that stuff. I have a young group, so I have to take my senior man's experience, my experience, and teach those years of experience into a 2-3 year guy. So, those are my big plans for 2026 to carry on from 2025, operating independently, seeing the big picture, and critical decision making.
What about you, Sam? What you got in the pipeline? I know you're deep in your admin stuff right now. You just spent almost $800,000 worth of new vehicles that you just purchased for the county.
Well, we're still working on the second wave, but the first wave, the wholesale replacement of the battalion command platforms into the F-250, that's progressing very well. So my goal, my overarching theme next year is to stabilize the fleet and then find myself a home as I get into the drop. Hopefully next December, find myself a battalion home to retire out of the field from. Already ordered up my white coat. We got the authorization to get white coats, and that was always a symbolic thing for me as a kid. I was like, oh man, wearing my dad's white coat around the firehouse as a kid or whatever. So I'll be ready by this time next year to come out. When you're an adult towards the end of your career, your limitations, and certainly one of mine is office work. It's a daily challenge to get me planned. Thankfully, I've got a saint and a boss in Chief Bailey.
Sam was talking about going into the drop, and he wants to find a home. So I have a sneaking suspicion it's going to be the first or the fourth where he'll end up at. But looking ahead for me for 2026, like I said, it's no secret. Like I said, Shane's retiring. I put in for his position. I'm sure a handful of other people I put in for his position. And if he gets it. If I get it, great. I've got some plans, things that I want to do, for the volunteers, for the corporations, trying to get them some more stuff, things that as an active volunteer, things that I'd like to see that for them. And if it's not me, getting the new person spun up to make sure that we're producing what we need to produce out of our division. But I think we've got some really exciting times that are coming, especially as we move forward. I know it's an election year, so that'll be interesting with the county executive. I know she's doing a good job, so I have faith that she's going to get reelected. So it'll probably be business as usual for Frederick County. should be finished up this APS project, the station learning project. That's been going on for 4 years. I'm very happy that we are literally on the end, on the downside right now of this project. We're doing headquarters, and we're just finishing up headquarters, and that's the last thing. And that, I said, that put that 4-year project to bed, and then move on to whatever the next project that the fire chief has. But I'm looking forward to seeing what 2026 brings. I'd like to be a little more active, to run some calls. That's not my number one job priority, obviously, to run calls, but I do like running calls. Visiting RJ when he's on shift, go grab a cup of coffee and bring some Bojangles biscuits in.
Hey, Sam, Dave's been he started this thing. He did it one time, and now it's a trend. And every time Dave comes, these guys like, man, is he bringing biscuits? So Dave stops at Bojangles and brings over some Bo-Berry biscuits, and they're always warm too when he brings them in. And man, these things are so damn addictive, bro.
Man,
so damn addictive, bro.
Daggone.
I've always been of the mindset that you never come to the firehouse empty-handed. If you're a boss, have something there. And we were doing that when I was doing the white wave stuff. I would always stop and get like 20 or 40 munchkins, and I was doing that all the time. And Shane's finally like, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And I said, well, I don't like to come empty-handed, and but I don't go to a lot of those white wave things. But if I'm visiting RJ, I know he likes them, and I know everybody else. Yeah. They'll tell you that they didn't want me to bring them, but they all leave. They're all gone before I leave. So
there's none left.
But that's one of the things that I want to try to hit. I'd like to get out to the stations a little bit more. Been there for 4 years, and I know a handful of people there.
Has it been 4 years?
It's been 4 years. So
that's crazy.
I want to talk and know more people. I know a lot of the volunteers, but I also need to know some of the guys on the career side. I need to know those guys as well, because we all are working hand in hand. If there's an issue in the station, they're going to contact me or contact Shane. So I want to be able to start to have a good working relationship on the career side as well. So I would like to visit some stations. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking forward to, for 2026. Like I said, even year, pretty happy about that. And I think we got a lot of good stuff in the pipeline with some things that we're going to try and get for the volunteers to be able to actually get out. I want to get out and talk to them and say, what do you guys want? What would you want? What would you want? If money was no object, what would you want? Something along those nature. And then see if we can't whittle down to some of the important stuff, because I would like to try to I think what Shane did was phenomenal. What we got for the volunteer side, I'd like to see a little bit more of that to make sure that, even though they're not getting compensated monetarily, we're compensating them for what they bring to the table with their apparatus, their buildings, the assets that they have, as well as the manpower getting on the apparatus for free, making sure that like at Station 1, getting that tower out, so you guys don't have to cross staff. And that's happening more and more. And I know some of the older guys are coming in taking that tower out, because I talked to those guys. But it sounds good to me. I love hearing that tower getting out. And I also love hearing, a lot of people aren't going to like me saying this, but I love hearing when the volunteer chiefs get on the scene, they have command of these incidents. They do a good job. And I think that's important. And I'd like to see more training towards the volunteers being able to participate in a lot of the training that they're putting together at the training academy. And I know Frank's done a really good job getting volunteer friendly hours, whether they be on weekends or evenings and things like that, so they can participate. I just want them to be able to participate more when those opportunities are there, because it's important. I think we should all be trained the same way, personally. And I think a lot of good stuff's coming out of the training academy. So,
all right, what are we leaving behind in 2025? Sam, what are you leaving behind in 25?
Man, about 25,000 miles on my on my work vehicle from all the trips to the Eastern Shore to check on vehicle builds. Pencils with no eraser, and and no lead left, and empty ink pens, and those spiral rule bound with all the little flakes on it and empty pages, man.
Yeah.
Gotta get the new books and pens out for the new year, man.
I love you. Really behind, Dave.
I don't know if I'm going to leave anything behind. I think what we have, we've actually got some new corporation chiefs that are coming online. Some of the chiefs that are actually in their positions now, they're going to step down. We got some new chiefs that are coming in. So meeting with those guys and get them spun up and making sure that they've got what they need and what they need from me or what they need from our office. But as far as I think that things have been moving pretty smoothly at headquarters for volunteer services. So there's nothing I want to leave behind. I just want to kind of build onto it. We've got a new PPE vendor, and they're doing good work. Got a decent relationship with them, just like we did with our old vendor. Bend over backwards for us if they need anything. There's just a phone call away. So just building relationships, like I said earlier, not only on the volunteer side, but on the career side, but as well as with our vendors and things like that. So just looking forward to learning a new skill set. It's not all about pulling hose lines, although I still like doing that. It's not all about pulling the hose lines when you're in the admin position. It's more of building relationships to making sure if you need something, with who to call to make it happen. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
How about you?
So I'm leaving behind anything that we didn't get done. Leaving it behind. You know what I mean? It's just if we didn't get it done, we didn't get it done. But I like starting fresh. I kind of felt like when I got there to One Engine in January, it was a fresh start from being on a detail trail for 4 years. And I had this grand plan of all these things that I wanted to do. And I would say probably 75% of it got done. 25% of it did not, and it didn't get done. And so, I still am very, very fortunate, blessed, and accomplished that we got the 75% done that we did. So I think the 75 is huge. One of the one out of the 75% was working with the other two officers to build 3 shifts worth of cohesiveness. We have 3 officers at One Engine who are all friends, communicate all day, every day. There's no shift wars between the 3 shifts. Everybody in that company likes helping out each other. If you need a trade, somebody will pick it up for you, which is just and they do it in house, and it's very, very tight. But there's 25% of stuff that I didn't get done that I thought that I was going to be able to tackle as a new officer going into a new company, and I didn't. But that's okay. And then I didn't get it done, and so now I have other projects to work on, other things to do, and pick that up and start those and get that going. But if I didn't get to it, I didn't get to it. I think we have a lot to be proud of now and what we've accomplished in these short months, and that's good enough for me. And one more thing we need to leave behind in 2025. Can we all agree to leave behind those big ass flashlights with the swivel heads? Can we let those things go, please? The big orange box lights with the swivel heads. Can we let these go in 2026?
It's the Euro helmet of flashlights, man. I don't like them joints either.
Those things with the thin shoulder strap and the easy to break buckle clasp. Can we let these things go? I still see these things on some fire trucks around in the county. I'm like, can we let these things go? These are still operating off glass halogen bulbs, dude.
You know what? You're having a bad day when you got to yoink one of those out and use it. You're like this. You get that light, you're going, this is going to suck.
When you see a guy with it and it don't even fit on his body, man,
the light's all canter, half shot in his face, blinding the guy behind him.
And they weigh like 50 pounds.
Oh my God!
Let these go, please,
man.
And the one last thing, FDIC coming up in April. And RJ, congratulations! You're going to be teaching at FDIC. I got to move my flight around so I can sit in on your class. I think you're doing it on Friday, so that's really good stuff.
Yep.
I think this is the first of a long relationship or a long line of putting classes in there. We just got to get the rest of our Capital boys to start stepping up to the plate. But FDIC is going to be a blast this year. The 4-hour workshop that I'm doing, that kicks off on Monday morning, and then the rest of the week is us meeting and greeting. We're going to have a booth. I say we, you and Hank will have a booth, but it'll be a Capital Fire a hasty strap booth that we will be happily manning. And then networking and stuff like that. So
FDIC is going to be pretty cool. I mean, kicking off the week with your workshop midweek, Jason Rivera has his presentation, and then closing out. My presentation is closing out the week. Throughout the week, we'll have Capital Fire Training booth. Anybody listening, make sure you guys stop by the booth. It'll be a good time. You have a bunch of the Capital instructors. We'll be manning the booth, talking to people. I'm sure we'll have some stuff, some swag, that kind of stuff. And just, talking to people about training, different things that we do when we travel and teach, and just, whatever. And the biggest thing is just seeing everybody. We will be in the Lucas Oil Stadium part of the convention center. I can't remember our booth number off the top of my head. I know it begins with a 6. But, Hank Henline, another Capital instructor, he will be with us, and we'll have hasty straps. We're still in the process of figuring out how we're going to design the booth so that we can set it up so people can actually get a chance to see how the strap works. So we're in the process. Hank and I are talking about how we're going to design and construct that booth. It'll be a very, very fun week with all the guys from Capital throughout the week. So looking forward to it. Hitting our presentations. And then literally after FDIC, we close out FDIC. We have a couple days, and then we're off to Germany doing a truck company ops class and Kashim, Germany. So we're just 2026 is going to be off to the races, but looking forward to it. And this would be 2016 would be year 17 for Capital Fire Training. So.
That's wild, man. It's been that long.
Long. Yeah.
It's been a good ride.
It's been great.
All right. Any last closing words, RJ? For the end of the year?
Just, if you've made it this far, consider yourself lucky. We're all lucky. We all take part in a job that's dangerous, and, things can change on us in a minute, and we're never guaranteed tomorrow. So, the fact that we've made it and honoring the fact that we're going into a new year, but not forgetting the brothers and sisters who sacrificed this year. And so if you guys take anything from what we talked about today, which is goal planning, goal setting, making, goals for your new year. If you didn't do what you set out to do this year, or you fell short, or maybe you felt like you didn't do enough, New Year is always a clean slate to start fresh and get yourself right and get on the right track. So that's my closing thoughts.
Sam?
The word is grace. Grant yourself grace. Grant the people around you grace. We're not, we're coming up on Christmas, and we've had in the mid swing of the holiday season. It's a tough time for some folks, and grant yourself the grace that you deserve for everything that you do for your department and your family and your friends, and grant those around you the grace that they need to get through it. Because again, it's not all sunshine and rainbows during the holidays for everybody. So just grace, grant them grace.
And my closing remark is enjoy the holidays. Spend the time with your family. The fire department will always be there. Kids grow older. If you've got young kids, this is the time to really be there for them. If you don't have kids, you got a spouse, hang out with your spouse. Like I said, fire department will always be there. The work that you didn't get done, it'll be there when you get back. So enjoy the holidays, enjoy each other, be safe, and, looking forward to 2026. Fellas, have a great Christmas. And
you too.
Good New Year, and I will see you guys very soon.
Christmas. Happy New Year, boys.
Cool Yule. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.